Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the call for tonight. This is our public session of our weekly training for Ultimate Insiders. This is the Extreme Business Makeover session, and this is actually a bonus that we are doing for Ultimate Insiders. We do this on a weekly basis. This is eventually going to be a signature product of both mine, and I'm going to make it PLR for the Ultimate Insiders. I'm actually going to make it available to the public at a price. I haven't decided what the price is going to be, so you'll get a little preview here tonight. If you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to ask. If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box, and we'll go ahead and get started. And I will be making this replay available on our YouTube channel, on our training channel. So if you are subscribed over there, you will get a chance to see it. Okay, Roger, thank you. All right, so let's get started. Hey, Dana. All right, just a few updates. These are for Ultimate Insiders. I will be finishing Warrior Plus Volume 3. Even though we're technically in September, this will be for your August 2021 folder. I will make this available to the public on Monday or Tuesday. I've already ordered graphics for the series that we are doing now. And just so that you'll know, the 14 sessions that we've done so far, I've generically called it the New Marketer Workshop, and that's so that you will be able to rebrand the graphics. And so it's kind of a generic name. You don't have to call it that, but however you rebrand it, that'll be what you can do. Or you can just use New Marketer Workshop, and that should work for everyone. It's designed to be a series. What we're doing, I'm going to be editing out the references for sessions 1 through 14. I'm going back in time. And the first series I'm going to release to the public as well as to Ultimate Insiders is going to be sessions 1 through 4. And it's going to work like a membership for you. So you'll be able to do private training and do these same private trainings for your customers. And of course, you'll have the option of using the edited videos, or you can also just redo the sessions yourself. And so I will also give access to the community, and we'll discuss the marketing of this series inside of the community. Right, so that's just in general. So, okay, so what are we talking about here? What's the framework? Every week, I like to recap basically what the overview is. Why are we doing 50 sessions? Why are we doing all this? And this is really what I call the insider playbook. I used to call it the insider success path. And and really last week I just kind of figured out, well, Stu McLaren calls his path the success path. I don't want to use that. So we're just going to call this the insider playbook from now on. And so basically this series is really designed to help you to become an insider in your niche, so that everything that happens in your niche, it has to go by you. And so you don't really have to be a big personality to do that. If you do the things that we're talking about in this series, whatever sub niche that you decide to land in, you are going to be the ultimate insider, so that when somebody decides you're going to do something, it's going to be something big, they just really have to come talk to you. And you'll be able to see that in your session. And you can probably see me trying to do some of this in my own session. I mean, if you're just kind of watching from the outside, you know that some of the steps that I'm taking, these are the same things that I'm doing, in my own business for PLR as well as in my local area. So let's talk about what the Insider Playbook is. You are positioning yourself as an educator. So you don't have to be the expert. You're positioning yourself to educate people who want to get better in your market or niche, whatever that is. It can be self-improvement. It can be, it can be business related. It can be weight loss. Whatever your market is, you are positioning yourself as an educator to help people move forward in whatever it is they're trying to do. And you do that basically by doing a weekly workshop. And you do that and you establish your credibility every week by going live every week, free of charge to your customer base. And before you even have that customer base, you should be going live on a regular basis and giving some value. Now, you don't have to overdo it. I think 30 minutes is fine. If you can't do 30 minutes, do 15. You were doing, and we talked about building a strategic framework. that we're talking about those, first those four basic principles: USP, upsells and cross sells, list building, and then partnering and JVing, right? Making sure that you're building a system of those things. I'm talking about building a product snowball. We're going to be talking about that principle tonight, which is how you're going to monetize. Creating a content factory, which is what we're going to be talking about next week. Building a massive network. We talk about the principle of being a media mogul, which is mastering one way of getting traffic, then getting all this into production mode so that it works in a system. Building a building a learning center so that you have a continuity offer as well as a high ticket offer, right? And using your resources to build that learning center so that people will continually come and continually say subscribe to you because of the value you're providing for them on a regular basis. Creating community around the ideas, and then building an affiliate army in order to sell these things, right? Those are the basic principles. All right. So this is session 14, and this is the product snowball principle. And we are talking about creating an offer series. Creating an offer series. That's what we are talking about. How do you create an offer series in order to execute the product snowball formula? We're going deeper into the product snowball formula. I want to talk specifically to PLR marketers about how to take this step, and I'm going to edit this out of the final session. So just so that you'll know, I mean, if you're watching this, you're thinking, I'm going to use this for PLR. He's talking about PLR. I'm going to edit this out. So this will not be in the final session of this, but I do want to talk to you as a PLR marketer. And I also want to say this at the outset. This is going to be a public session. I'm probably not going to finish this. So if you want to hear all of it, obviously, you'll need to be an ultimate insider. When I get to the point about 30 or 35 minutes, I'm going to stop. Not because I'm trying to be stingy, it's just because I don't like to keep people on all night. And this is just kind of a public taste of what we do every week. So I do want to talk to you as a PLR marketer. How do you take this step of creating an offer series? We talked about creating an offer, a starter offer. And remember, your PLR, regardless of what it is never the entire offer. It's always the raw material. Those of you who have taken accounting, you know what a raw material is. It is what you take and make into finished goods inventory. In the case of PLR videos, you want to be flexible. When you are putting your content on a course platform, you make it as the focus of the offer. You can use interview and case studies. You can use the challenge format. In other words, you are selling, right, the expertise. You're selling the challenge format. And basically what you want to do then is you want to take your PLR content and use it as more of a boost to what you're trying to sell, right? That's a good way of being able to do this. And this is actually a good practice regardless of the platform you're using. You should be structuring your offer, of course, whatever PLR you're using so that it fits your target market. One size does not fit all. You don't take a PLR package and slap your name on it and then just get that sales letter and put it out there regardless of who it is. That's not what it's for. Your job is really to turn it into something sellable for your market. When you get PLR, you want to think 2 to 3 offers at a time. We're going to talk about that here this week, but you should always be thinking 2 to 3 offers at a time. In other words, how can you customize an offer to look just like the other offer you have like it? And then, if you're, let's say again, and we're going to talk about this a little deeper, but if you're purchasing, let's say Facebook PLR from a specific vendor, I mean, maybe you want to look at that same vendor for YouTube and Instagram. So in other words, you have other offers that are going to be just like the one so that you can have a product snowball, so you can have adjacent offers for people to be able to purchase, and that they'll see the similarity and they'll want to buy it just because of the look and feel of the first offer that they like. You want to be able to answer the question, does the upsell make sense for you based on your funnel? So in other words, don't just put an upsell together just because it came to you with PLR. Just because there's an upsell with the PLR doesn't mean you have to add it to your funnel. It doesn't even mean you have to have a funnel, right? You've got to look at it and say, does this make sense? Do I maybe need to combine these and make this into one product and sell it at one price? Again, don't put something in that doesn't fit you. If you are selling to the make money online market, An upsell typically is going to make sense that you get with PLR. But most people are not going to be selling the PLR in the same market that they're buying it in. And so as a result of that, you don't need to take the structure as is and add it just because it was given to you, right? That's just the way it was given to you. PLR is always raw material. You don't want to use it as is. You got to be thinking about, is this going to be a step up for your customer? Right? Are they likely to buy, the other offer? If they do buy it, right? Will the experience will they get the experience that you promised them? Right? When you are customizing PLR, right, and you're customizing a series, you have to be thinking with every offer, are they going to get the experience that you are promising them? And then listen, what exactly are you promising them? When they buy your product, what are you saying you are going to give them? What that means is that you've got to look at the sales copy, and you've got to say, is that really what my market wants? Do I really want to promise that? Again, just because it comes out of the box, just because it comes out of the wrapping, that doesn't mean that's the way you should be using it, right? You've got to use your content that you purchase in a way that makes sense to your market. Now, again, doesn't, if you want to just take it out of the box and use it as is, right? You want to put up, that's perfectly fine. But what I'm saying to you is that if you already have a relationship that you are establishing with your market or with your niche or with your subscriber list, don't just throw something in front of them just because you got it that way, thinking it's supposed to fit them. It's your job to make it fit. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit from the strategic marketing framework as we start talking about how am I going to design a series of products that my customer is going to buy so that I can be more profitable with every sale. Remember, strategic marketing, we talk about having vertical and horizontal funnels. So when you create your offers, you want to have multiple ways for your customer to benefit, of course. So it's not just about you, right, and having multiple offers. What you're doing and the mindset you want to have is, how can I give my customer multiple ways to succeed with my products? We have vertical funnels. In other words, I'm going to give you everything at the point of sale. And this is what you probably experience when you purchase a make money online offer. You purchase an offer, you see an offer right after that. Typically, it's going to be some kind of no-brainer offer. You see a DFY, in other words, they do part of the process for you. You then see an offer that will help you to keep those results, right? You typically see 3 upsells, maybe sometimes you see 4, but all this happens on one transaction. So in other words, you're going to see all these offers at one point in time, right? The customer's going to see the upsells. Those upsells are going to lead to you making more profit. It should lead to your customer being happier, right? So the goal you're trying to do when you put everything on the point of sale is, how can I make my customer happier, right? Not necessarily even, of course, you want your customer to benefit. Of course, you want them to to use it, but your job when you're selling in a vertical funnel, when you're doing the traditional make money online funnel, and you're going to have an upsell, your mindset needs to be, how can I make them happier, right? How can I give them more enjoyment from what it is they purchase, whether it is they enjoy the purchase itself or they enjoy using it? How can I give that person more enjoyment? We also have horizontal funnels. In other words, all these offers are going to take place from an email or from the thank you page. So in other words, let's say that the customer decided not to buy all the other offers that you put at the point of sale in your funnel. You still want to have other adjacent offers on the thank you page. And typically these are not going to be the same offers that they saw in the vertical funnel, but you can do that. So in other words, maybe anything can happen in a funnel. So you say to yourself, what if something happened and they didn't see the upsell? I'm going to put that upsell on the thank you page so they can still get it. I'm going to give them a message saying that, hey, here's a way you can benefit. You can get more from your purchase. You're going to have that on the thank you page, but you should also have on your thank you page horizontal funnels. In other words, offers that don't necessarily take your customer deeper into the subject, but they take them to other subjects that are related. So in other words, horizontal funnels, you are going to have adjacent products on your thank you page. All of this will make you more profitable. If you don't have those offers on your thank you page, you are leaving money on the table. Because if your customer likes you enough to purchase something from you on that thank you pay that they purchased you on your front end, you want to have other things that when they see them, they say to themselves, ah, this looks like something like what I got. I like to have a set of these things. I want to make sure I get this also. Have those horizontal funnels on your thank you page. Now, it might take you a little while you're building. If you are just getting started, you may not have those horizontal offers. This is what you want to be developing. So don't get exhausted by developing one product at a time. You know, sometimes you develop one product and you get it out and you launch, you think, ah, man, I'm exhausted now. I gotta put something together. No, when you're putting together your offer, you should be thinking, as I said previously, 2 to 3 at a time. So that when you put that horizontal funnel together, when somebody gets to your thank you page, as much as possible, you want to have something else for them that's like what they got so they can buy more from you so that that one customer ends up being more profitable to you. Now, what do we call that? We call that cross sells traditionally in direct response, right? So it's not a new concept. What I'm telling you, it's an old concept. Customer sees cross sells, and good companies in every stretch, in every industry, do this extremely well. Amazon does it well. Best Buy does it well, online and offline. You will see this in good companies that anytime you get something, you're going to see related purchases that you can make. Sometimes they're impulse buys, sometimes they're related buys, whatever it is, the customer, you as a customer, you have the opportunity to get more stuff, right? You become a more profitable customer. Um, Again, so what does that mean? More offers, right? This is what the product snowball means. More offers equals a more profitable customer, right? Give your customer the opportunity to be more profitable to you. Give your customer the opportunity to benefit more. Give your customer the opportunity to be happier, right? By giving them more that they can be happier with what they've already purchased. Um, if they consume more of your offers, you're going to get more trust, right? So again, when you give your customer more to buy, you are going to try to get them to consume it naturally. And the more that they consume, the more trust you gain. The more that you can get them to take in, buy in, come to your training, get deeper into your marketing funnel, the more you establish trust. The more times you can get that customer to write into your support and you can answer them, the more trust you build. Again, all of this gets the customer deeper and deeper into your world and gives you more opportunities to benefit and to help them and to make them happier. Now, when you think about when you create a launch, think about why your product makes sense to the customer, right? Why do they want to buy it? And you should be thinking about this when you're creating it, when you're writing your sales copy. You might not know exactly whether your product is going to be successful. You may not know whether or not somebody is going to buy them, but you should have some idea of why they should want it. Or you should have some idea of why, what's going to go through their brain when they get ready to buy it. You should have a theory working. And this is really important when we're talking about series. Why? Because within that product, you're going to be teasing the next set of products, right, within the product you're selling, right? You want to be teasing the next point in the series. You want to be teasing those other products. Please do not think that this is over the top. Please do not think that this is a little too much. I should just let them enjoy. And again, you want to deliver on what you promised them, certainly. But within that product, you should be giving them clues that the other products will help them too if they get them, right? Now, again, you shouldn't be, it shouldn't be where all you're talking about are your other products, right? That's not the idea. But where it makes sense, you should be talking about the other things that are going to benefit them, the other things that are going to make them happy with your purchase. You should be talking about the next step up in their journey. You should be talking about the next step over in their journey. You should be talking about the next step in their journey. All three of these should be different products that can be part of your product snowball. Let's go further into this. Let's talk about the next step up. Now, here's what we're talking about. Customers already purchased your product. Now, if your customer gets the results you promised them, right, what do they have to look forward to? What should they be thinking about next? Right? Think about what happens if your customer has success with what you gave them, whether it's learning something or doing something. If they're successful and they get it, what should they do next? Let's say they got to make some life changes or some changes in their business or some changes in their schedule. Let's say they make those changes. What do you need to teach them or give them next? How can you then design something that will assist the person that consumes your product? Right? If they're talking about information, let's say they consume it, they go all the way through it. They say, wow, that was fantastic. Now what? What happens if what happens if they're thinking deeply about it? So in other words, man, it's really caused them to start doing some thinking. What will they need while they're in that process where they're getting deeper and they're thinking about it? What's going to help them at that point? How can you design something for the contemplator, right? The person that's really chewing on this. They're really thinking about this. What do they need while they're in that process? You should have something that you design that you can give them. What happens to that person that takes action? They concentrate, they focus, they do something. What will they need? Right? What can you give them? What can you design for them? What can you sell them that will help them if they take action? That's the next step up. So in other words, they're moving forward with what you've given them. Right? So they now need something that they've sort of graduated out of your product. What can you give them next? Here's the example. Somebody learns Facebook ads on the basic level. They start to use it. They start to apply it. You then want to do something and have them learn maybe Facebook retargeting. This is an example. I always like to use Facebook because I know everybody understands Facebook. That's how you want to think about this. Not that you have to do Facebook ads in terms of a product. What I'm saying to you is that the person that learns Facebook ads on a basic level, they then may be ready to consider Facebook retargeting. You should be giving them the opportunity to think about the fact that that's what they need. Right? You should be teasing that. You should be talking about that. It should be someplace in the product where they can click on it and they can think about buying it. So the next step up requires an understanding of the first step that you sold them. In other words, they probably shouldn't move on to that next product until they have the understanding. So that's what I mean by the next step up. They've already taken the step that you've given them. Now they've graduated. They need to make another step, and you've got to give it to them because trust me, people are going to move on. They're going to get that step from other people. Right now, what's the next step over? Right? What ways will your customer journey not be complete when they have your product? So in other words, they're going to take a step over, not just a step up. Now, we aren't talking about the vertical funnel in this point, right? We're not talking about at a particular point in time. What we are talking about is a horizontal funnel, right? The next step over. So in other words, what else do they want to learn or do or experience to be ready for what they encounter, right? So in other words, we're not talking about graduating them. We're talking about while they're in it, right? What else do they need? What else do they want to learn? If you want to sell more, this is kind of an important distinction, and this is almost parenthetical to what I'm saying. Don't think about need at this point, right? You've got to sort of think about what do they want? What would they want to learn? So in other words, what do they want to do? What do they want to experience? If you can think through what they want, then you're going to be able to sell more, right? So it's kind of a hard. You will almost think I've got to give them what they need, but people generally do not buy what they need. They buy what they want, and they buy what they want because they want something. And so you've got to think in terms of what do they want. And in most cases, you can't help someone with what they need. And this is, again, classic direct response, probably from the Dan Kennedy School and all these other guys, all these old heads. This is what they tell you, that you can't really give someone what they need until you give them what they want. They will never give you the opportunity to sell them what they need. Right? But you got to open the door. You got to get the door open by selling them what they want. Right? Roger says, sell the dream. Right? Yeah, you got to sort of give them what they want, and you got to make them. You got to sort of get their trust before they'll give you the opportunity to sell them what they need. Most people are going to make better decisions from a place of having more than they need. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Um, there's something that's weird about people, especially in this age of information marketing, whether it's ebooks or whether it's information product courses or whatever the case is. When it comes to consuming information and learning things, a lot of people will not learn a subject until they have two of them. Right. So in other words, they've got two copywriting courses and they'll finally dig into one. They just got one. They typically will not go into that course. When they got three of them, they'll pick one and then find one and start going through one. So please, when you feel like you've got to give them more in order to get them to consume, that's probably true. Um, let's say now your customer buys your product on Facebook ads. Let's go back into this deeper. They may also want to learn YouTube ads. You're going to give them something horizontal. Before they go on to the next step up, you're going to give them a step over. So in other words, you're going to help them to learn YouTube ads in addition to Facebook ads on the basic level, so they have a broader understanding of the ad market. Maybe that's the way that they are going to do it. So what's your job? You got to make sure they're both available. So again, you should always be thinking 2 to 3 offers at a time. And again, it doesn't always have to be an upsell. Sometimes what you want to have is you want to have those other offers available in places where they are going to see them. So they have to trip over them on the way to, let's say, on the way to your thank you page, or they've got to trip over them on their way to get into your membership site. They see these other offers available to them. Now, let's talk about the next step in. We've talked about the next step up. We've talked about the next step over. Let's talk about the next step in. Assuming your customer starts to take steps into your product, they want to get into it, right? They're going through it. They're in it, man. So you got to start thinking, okay, so what are they going to get to where they've got some roadblocks, right? They encounter that are beyond the scope of your course. Now, let me tell you what this means. And this is not a rule, right? This is not an exact rule. You start talking about, doing courses that are going to be longer than 2 hours. You're probably going beyond the scope of one idea. Now, sometimes, yeah, you're going to do a big, big dramatic, course. It's going to have multiple layers. But when you start talking about going beyond 120 minutes, right, beyond really beyond 60, someplace between the 60 and 120, that's one scope. And if you start talking about ideas that are outside of that, you probably need to be selling them something else, right? You need to give them a separate idea. And the reason you do that is because if you start overwhelming people, man, they're not going to finish what you give them. When you start talking about 3, 4, 5 hours, they're not going to finish it. They're just not going to do it. But if you will keep your ideas down pretty short, and you'll keep it down to one idea, they can finish it. While they're in it, they're going to hit some roadblocks. So what do? You want to have resources to help them to get past their roadblocks. So you got to be thinking about what other things do they need while they're in this course that may trip them up, right? Give them those other resources. But now at the same time, I do want to say this: you don't have to be vague in your product so you can sell them a second one. That's not the idea. Don't do that. So that, well, I'm only going to tell them a little bit. I don't want to tell them too much because I want to buy this other product. Nope. You want to make sure that you get them all the way through, giving them everything you possibly can, right? Under promising and over delivering. At the same time, don't jam so much into the product, right? So that the subject goes beyond the scope. Help them to finish one idea, promise them one idea, help them to finish that. Let's say the customer's learning Facebook ads again. But they need to know how to create landing pages. They need to do how to do it with a specific page builder, right? You don't have to take all of the material, let's say on the page builder, and stick that in your course, right? Just maybe put a few videos and a few training tutorials, but you want to make the link available to your landing page builder course, right? So again, if you know that's going to trip them up, give them what they need in order to finish the course. But if they really do need to know more, make sure that link is available to your other course. Okay. So yeah, include enough content to help your student get results from your course. They want to go beyond that. right? Give them the option of providing a place for them to get the other course. Most of these offers are going to be inside of your product or your course. When we're talking about the next step in, right, we're not talking about offers on the thank you page. We're talking about offers that are going to appear hyperlinked inside of the course they are in, right? That's the distinction. That's where these offers are. So they're in the product. They're going through the steps. They're going to see these other things that they can get inside of that product. Now, again, I mean, obviously there's leeway depending on how you have your member area structure and all those things, but I think you understand what I am saying. You're trying to move people deeper into your funnel. That's your goal. Creating a product snowball moves people deeper into your funnel. You may be tempted to put people into an affiliate product from within your offer. Um, I say this all the time. Please do what you can to give people choices on your own products by providing vertical funnels, right? Give them lots of stuff at the point of sale that will help them, that will make them happy, right? So we're talking about here helping them take the next step up and at the point of sale, providing them horizontal funnels, right? Next step over, right? And you want to have this happen after the sale on the thank you page, in your emails, right? Other products that are going to be available that will help them. Then what we just talked about, diagonal funnels, which is the step in. They are inside of your product. It's after the sale, but you are giving them other offers to help them while they are inside of that product. Now, when you can, add these offers over time. You may not be at that point where you have lots of offers you can put in there. Add them, right? Start creating them. Whenever you're creating a product, think 2 or 3 offers at a time. When you develop your products, think about the entire world of your customers' needs. Don't zero in just on that one thing. Be thinking about the entire universe that your customer might need and how they connect with other things that you have that you can put inside of their system, right? Develop your product snowball with this structure that I have given you. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Any questions based on what we have talked about here tonight? This is our public session. Obviously, we think that you should become an ultimate insider where we talk about these things every single week. And if you want to finish the entire series, you can do that. We are going to be starting next week with session number 15, and we are going to be getting deeper into building out your brand 1 week at a time. So if you want to become the ultimate insider, you'll be able to get this series. You'll not only be able to get the series as a learner, you'll be able to get the series to go teach your people also, right? So you'll get the content to go teach your people, whether you want to do it by using my videos or you just want to teach it yourself. Go to the plrshow.com/ultimate insiders. You'll have access to not only what you see there on that page, but you'll also get a chance to be part of this series that we are doing. Oh, thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. Appreciate your input. Right? Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for hanging out with me here. Appreciate you all. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.